Welcome back to The Line. Number 3 on our list of top 10 stories of the year is higher education. Now, this does not include the investigations into financial management at the UNM Athletics Department. But Dan, the New Mexico's colleges and universities right up the top took a bounce with significant cuts in state funding through this governor in the early part of the year. There was a question to be had. We discussed at this table as well. In that interim, before they got straightened out, that something could, in fact, get lost. You've got people coming in to take jobs that suddenly were feeling not so great. Students, coming into UNM feeling, well, maybe I should make a plan B here. Looking back, do we have any sense of what happened there in that interim? Was it as bad as we thought? Was it not as bad?
Yeah,
tough one.
I don't know kind of the tangible evidence, but I do think, the fact that being line itemed and there being actual doubt about whether, even though everyone, I think we all knew eventually there would be funding in this current fiscal year for higher education institutions. But I think that uncertainty, or just the message it sent, I think did, resonate and had a negative impact on a lot of, universities that are already struggling.
That's right.
They've already faced budget cuts in the last few years. We're a big rural state with, and I think there's legitimate questions about how many institutions there are. But, for the ones that are there, I think this was kind of a, gut punch after some previous body blows.
Exactly right. In New Mexico State, Gary Carruthers, former governor, he had come out very strongly and saying, look, we've been cutting like crazy here. There's really not much more we can cut. And so with this freeze, you're really causing a lot of problems. And I'm curious, none of us can really know what was said behind the scenes, but there was some pressure to bear there that, folks on the 5th floor had to rethink this a little bit, you know what I mean? Because it just wasn't working well for the state.
Yeah, and I think that maybe some of that vetoing had gotten caught up in technicalities.
Right.
I don't cover the State House, so I don't always know the inner workings.
Yeah.
But you have to question whether all of the heartache that had come in that sort of time period where there was this strange news development that there was a veto. We have to wonder if it was necessary.
Well, that's a big point there too. We don't know. It's one of those things. But Matt, also, there's a couple other things riding over this. Student enrollment has been dropping steadily in New Mexico across all of our schools for quite a while now. How does that impact the discussion in your view?
I think it, impacts the state a little bit further down the line. We don't have enough graduates. Granted, not all our graduates are sticking around.
Right.
But it was just sort of it was a mystifying move for me. The governor has line item authority, and she has the right to send messages. Governors before her have done it. Right. Democrats have done it. But this almost seemed like cutting off your nose to spite your face. I mean, it reminded me a lot of the movie incentives, where they were just really draconian. They were like, oh, wait a second, we didn't want to do that.
Right.
And I think this didn't last long enough to have that kind of impact, but I think it really did impact the search for coaches, recruiting professors. I mean, all the salaries for UNM are available. I'm stunned what academic main campus professors make. Not a lot. For the education they have and the loans that they're carrying, it's stunning. And I think this really was just a gut punch to the higher ed community as they saw this coming, thinking like, what more do we have to do to help? Like, we're churning out smart kids, hopefully, with the idea that this is going to boost the economy.
That's right. It's hard to think, Inez, that there might have been some other end game at play here that just never came about. Do you know what I mean? Because as Mary mentioned, when things sort of got clear and the funding came back, it just sort of ended. So I'll love to wonder what was going on there. But in the broader sense of dropping students, and Dan mentioned that there's always been a push to close some campuses here. Does there any impact of that situation on that argument about too many campuses here in New Mexico? That's a hard one for some people.
It is a hard one because we are rural and we have a lot of poor people. So what is a fairly affordable college tuition in a town far away, if you add living expenses, is out of reach.
That's right.
So bringing the college to the student has always been a way to go about it. But the problem is there's not enough money to pay for all those colleges, and now with distance education, you may not need all those branches. So I believe there's a higher education study going on to look at the big picture, and I think in the next few years you're going to see a lot of hard choices being made about how many branch campuses people need, how many extra four-year schools we need, and whether we can retract and do a better job of educating students while provide opportunities, but not fund all of those campuses.
That's right. That's right. It is, Dan, it's a part of a bigger organic picture as well. You can't talk about higher ed here without peeling back to just under. We need more timely graduates. We need kids prepared for college here. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that have to go into this. It's not just about a line item and say, well, you get this much less. Plus, I have to throw on top the idea that we may be flatlined in our education budget coming up this next year if we're to believe the reports that's coming out now. So.
Yeah, I think there'll be a little new money projected available for next year. I do think, just going back real quick, I think it was a political move to try and get legislators to come back to the table.
Right.
It may have worked in that regard. It did force them back in a special session, but I don't think they underestimated the message it sent,
That's
and
right.
to an already, a part of New Mexico that was already struggling.
That's right. We also, just a quick aside, we have a new campus. We have a new UNM president, first woman. It's kind of interesting for sure. But she's coming into a whole lot of issues here at UNM. Again, staying away from athletics, there's other things at work, meaning, dropping student enrollment, like I mentioned. Costs are going up just to run a university. It's a difficulty to run a big, giant campus these days.
Yeah, absolutely. Excuse me.
That's all right. That's all right. That happens.
Sorry.
You can take a sip. Matt can pick up on that. No worries.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to seem a lot better to her than University of Missouri, which she was dealing with. The racial issues there.
That's right.
There's a ton. There are governance questions. Yep. We're going to lose our governor and have a new one. We don't know from which party yet.
That's right.
But that's going to change things with Regents. You've got the relationship between the North Campus and the hospital and the main campus. I mean, UNM has, I think, a lot ahead of it.
Yeah, interesting point there. I want you to pick up in the last 30 seconds we have on this one. This idea that UNM is the flagship university, it's the straw that stirs the drink economically, if you want to look at it that way, here in our town. Where do we have to go with this in the broadest sense? I mean, we want this to be the university, you know what I mean, and really be the thing that works for us. So.
Yeah, and I think it is, but I think Matt touched on, just these fiefdoms that have been established. I mean, with the different boards of regents and how politicized they've got. I don't know if that'll change under a new governor, but I think that's something that hasn't always worked in the university's benefit.
Right, exactly right. We're going to pivot now.